Let me guess, you followed all the advice and you did all the right things, but you're looking around at everyone around you, your managers, your employers, your clients, your colleagues, and even just your day-to-day, and you're wondering, how did I get here? This isn't what I had in mind. See, if like me, you probably received advice, maybe even followed it, from a generation before us. A generation that grew up in the hangover of the Industrial Revolution, as well as a period in which modern education proliferated all over the Western world, based on the Prussian education system. One that was designed to manufacture and output obedient factory workers, one that would crush creativity and instead put compliance in its place. So of course, when we're finishing high school, university, we're told to pick your lane, narrow in, commit to a single career or to a pathway, work your way up the ladder and reap the benefits at some point in the far distant future. Well, how's that working out? Because it didn't work out for me. Hey, if we haven't met, my name's Daniel Mamba O'Doy. I'm currently 31 years old, and I've spent all of my 20s zigging and zagging between careers, things I was building myself, freelancing, consulting, and trying to figure it all out. At the time, I was ridiculed, I was confused, and I was insecure. I had no idea what I was actually doing, but there's one thing that I did know. I didn't want to be doing what everyone else was doing. So I decided to climb down the ladder that I was following blindly by everyone else around me. And that's when I danced between roles, tried new projects, had many failed side hustles that didn't go anywhere. And when people asked me, what did I do? I froze. It wasn't because I didn't have an answer. It was because I had too many. And after a decade of frustration of feeling like I was bouncing around different options and different avenues, here's what I've learned. You're not supposed to specialize first. You're supposed to sample. Then strategically quit on the opportunities that are not aligned with you. And only then do you double down and apply leverage to the things that are best for you. That's what this video is about. So no matter if you've just graduated and you've got no idea what direction to go to and everything you're being told just doesn't seem right, or if you're a modern professional stuck in a business or job that you know you need to break out of, but you don't know what your next steps are, this video is made for you because you're going to come away knowing which of the 3 phases you're currently in your career arc and what the hell to do next. I was always skeptical of career counselors that are advising people to have careers that they've never had themselves. Instead, I'm presenting my model of an anti-career. It throws convention out the window. And if you're the kind of person that likes zigging when others zag, then stick around, then you're gonna get a lot out of this. Or if you just wanna continue following the soul-sucking pathway that you're on as a result of outdated advice given from generations that came from times before you that don't understand how to operate in a modern economy, then feel free to click off because you won't get much from this one. Before I share the practical and tactical phases of helping you adapt to whatever season you're in your career and how to take the next best step, I'm going to read a remarkable passage from a book called Mastery by Robert Greene. This book, or I should say this passage in particular, gave me the advice I'd been craving my entire 20s. It validated the ethos or deep-rooted truth that I had deep down, knowing that boxing yourself in and going narrow at the start of your career is not the right play long-term. So listen up because this is certified heat. Oh, and for anyone wondering, the original book is from Mastery. I have the Daily Laws, which is a daily bite-sized summation of all of his major works, because I couldn't find my copy of Mastery, but it's the same passage, so let's rock. Take the hacker approach. Each age tends to create a model of apprenticeship that is suited to the system of production that prevails at the time. We are now in the computer age, and it is the hacker approach to programming that may offer the most promising model for this new age. The model goes like this. You want to learn as many skills as possible, following the direction that circumstances lead you to, but only if they are related to your deepest interests. Like a hacker, you value the process of self-discovery. You avoid the trap of following one set career path. You are not sure where this will all lead, but you are taking full advantage of the openness of information, all of the knowledge about skills now at our disposal. You see what kind of work suits you and what you want to avoid at all costs. You move by trial and error. You are not wandering around because you are afraid of commitment, but because you're expanding your skill base and your possibilities. At a certain point, when you are ready to settle on something, ideas and opportunities will inevitably present themselves to you. And when that happens, all of the skills you have accumulated will prove invaluable. You will be the master at combining them in ways that are unique and suited to your individuality. In this new age, those who follow a rigid singular path in their youth often find themselves in a career dead end in their 40s and overwhelmed with boredom. The wide-ranging apprenticeship yields the opposite, expanding possibilities. Fire, am I right? If any of that resonated, drop a fire emoji in any comment you have underneath so that I know you're listening, because that's the shit that those with high agency, those that fulfill, build, and create incredible things in a lifetime really live, breathe, and know deep down. The modern career arc that will not just help you survive but thrive is predicated from what's in this and split into 3 phases. So let's run through it. Phase 1 is the explore phase, otherwise known as the sampling period. Start with this for a second. What if your 20s weren't about mastery and instead They're about collecting data on yourself. First 15, 20 years of your life, depending on where you grew up, you've been groomed by state-conditioned systems. And 20s are really the first time you actually get to exercise conscious autonomy. That is, you decide how to spend your days, who to spend it with, where to go. This phase takes a lot of inspiration from David Epstein's book, Range, in which he presents that generalists succeed in complex environments because they prioritize breadth over depth first. By having a macro lens on industries, trends, and different skill sets, you're wiring your brain to recognize patterns and similarities between peripheral aspects of society. This phase is intended to increase match quality. That is, you increasing your surface area of experiences and exposures so that you can find more things that are right for you, your unique DNA, combinatorics, background, and every unfair advantage that you've been dealt with. Here, curiosity is your compass, and experimentation is your map. And if you feel like you're aimless during this period, trust me, my friend, you're not. You're running your own sampling algorithm to try figure out which of the experiences are right for you. What everyone else is saying, you do you. Throughout so much of my early 20s, I felt embarrassed to talk about all the projects I was working at because I grew up in a world where everyone around me was boxed in and niched in straight out of university. I was a DJ, content creator, dancer, social events organizer, valedictorian, intern at a Big Four consulting firm, while also dabbling in a million different other curiosities on the internet. And while 99% of the projects and short-lived experiences I had over this period didn't really eventuate into anything, they formed the foundation and the necessary skills that I could then use in the next phase. So if you're in this window of your life and you feel like you're chaotic, you're a multi-passionate, multi-hyphenate person, and you either feel a shame or embarrassment about it, don't be. You're being guided to realign and find the things in your life that are right for you. But a word of caution, you do not want to stay in this phase forever. Otherwise, you'll constantly have this hanging feeling of wasted potential on top of you. So if you feel like you've gone through an extreme period of experimentation, here are a few questions that are going to help you adapt and shift into the next phase. What energizes me? What things feel like hard work for others, but a play to me? What is the thing that I would do regardless if I had an audience or a monetary income from it? Because the chances are you're probably not good at it yet, but you need this period to filter the signal from all of the noise in your own lived experience, not through the injected ideals of your parents, preachers, teachers, or others that tell you what you should be doing, but you from knowing that deep intuitive truth inside of yourself. What is that soul guided desire that you know deep down is right for you? And so to draw upon Robert Greene's wisdom again, you are the programmer of this wide-ranging apprenticeship within the loose constraints of your personal interests. Now, I genuinely implore or challenge you to sit down with a sheet of paper, no noise from the outside world, no music, no distractions, and document all of this down for yourself. This is going to help you shift gears into phase number 2, quitting, the identity filter. Now, quitting is not giving up. Quitting is not failure. In fact, it's one of the most strategic skills that you and I were never taught growing up. We're told in all these empty platitudes, never quit, never give up. What if I told you the most successful people in the world, those that you most likely admire in any walk of life, are the ones that have mastered the skill the most? And the best in the business are very good at knowing what to give up in order to go up. Taking inspiration and validation from Seth Godin, the author of The Dip. It's called about this valley called the Dip. You may have heard of it otherwise known as the Valley of Despair. It's when you've gone from overly optimistic and starting a pursuit or a new career to then hitting that point that we all do when we realize it's going to take longer, it's going to take more time and more energy, more blood, sweat, and tears than we realized. And that dip is a beautiful filter for you and me. To quote Seth, he says that winners quit fast, often, and without guilt when it's the wrong dip. You quit not from fear, but from discernment, because the dip reveals if it's something you truly want to persist or you need to let go of. So based on everything that you've explored, everything you've got down on that sheet of paper, I can bet my bottom dollar you would have hit a moment with each and every one of them where you were questioning if you were actually in it for the long haul or not. And I would hope that in 90% plus of those opportunities, you let them go without guilt. On the flip side, if you're currently in a career, a job, a business, or some kind of side project and you're contemplating quitting, here are some questions to decide if this one's worth pushing through. Will I feel regret or relief if I quit right now? If you look back at your 80-year-old version or even 10 years from now and you quit the thing that you're currently sinking into, do you think you're going to regret it? To go real meta for a second, you may have seen an earlier video I shared. I've been an active consumer on YouTube for over 17 years and it's only been this year that I've decided to finally go in. And that's because I realized I was in a dip of start and stops. And I realized that if I look back at my life and I didn't push through this dip, I was going to regret not having a YouTube channel that I was proud of and that I'd love contributing to. And you do this in more ways than you realize. Friendships that are no longer a part of your life, ex-partners that you're no longer with, jobs you've moved on from, clothes or styles that you're no longer wearing, attitudes or beliefs that you don't have. We all quit in different areas when we realize something's not serving us or isn't worth sticking at for the long haul. Because in most instances, at least I've seen this in my experience and friends of my life, When you feel an immediate sense of relief once you've let something go, that's when you know that breakup was long overdue. And the really cool thing about human condition is, as soon as you have space or vacate something in your life, the world or universe at large is finally able to put back in its place something that was more likely aligned for you. Or you can now dedicate more of your bandwidth to the things that are worth sticking out for, the dips that you do want to continue persisting through. So once you strategically quit, you're probably only going to have a number of items on this list in front of you. And that's where phase 3 comes in. Exploit, otherwise known as the skill stack. See, we're in an era where you don't need to be world-class or a specialist in one single area. With the affordability and commoditization of AI chatbots, anyone can become a specialist in any single area at just a single prompt. So instead, to really future-proof yourself and your career in this modern economy, you just need to be dangerously good at 4 to 5 complementary skill sets. An article from Scott Adams in 2007 provides a timeless piece of wisdom that he calls skill stacking. It's very hard and most likely unattainable for most people to become in the top 1% of any single skill in the world, whether it's singing, being a professional athlete, or being the best CEO for a Fortune 500 company. But it's far more achievable to be in the top 25 percentile or 4 or 5 skill sets. And you might be wondering, where do these skill sets come from? They came from that period of your explore phase, when you started by increasing the width and the breadth of your digital surface area of opportunities and pathways that aligned with you. You then had enough data to be able to quit the things that you weren't gifted in, drawn to, or energized by. When you stack these 4 or 5 things together that are a unique combination that no one or rarely anyone else has to your level, you become what Scott Adams calls rare and valuable in the marketplace. See, in all of my 20s, I gravitated towards startups, so I became an exceptional operator, able to wear whatever hats, learn and adapt on the fly with whatever I needed to do. I simultaneously had a passion for storytelling and conquering modern tools for content creation on social media. I also spent the majority of my high school years as a nerd in the debating team, and then eventually taking up leadership roles both in my senior high school and university. And above all, I'm just a certified nerd for tech and operating the space of online businesses. So when I combine this combination together, it helped me become a one of one. But my friend, this is a realization I didn't come to until last year at age 30 or 31. So if you're in your early 20s, extend the time horizon. This clarity doesn't have to come to you overnight. And that's what I would be saying to my younger self. My advice would be redundant or useless to someone growing up 50 or 60 years ago, where you stuck to one job with one business and rode that ladder for the rest of your life. Your ability to intentionally evolve your career without needing permission from anyone and exercise true agency and autonomy is why right now, if any of this resonates with you and you are even remotely thinking about this, you have the ability to make the reality of the modern economy negotiable. Instead of you having to try and adapt to compliant, pre-made, boxed-in jobs and roles that existed, the marketplace is now so fluid and evolving that your unique combination of skills are of value to someone. And right now, you're no longer limited to your postcode. With just an internet connection, a social media account, or a website, you can find the group of people in the world that most need your talents, that you're best suited to serve in a way that AI can't. You may get to a period that after exploiting your unique skill sets, you may plateau, you may be reaching entropy, and there may be time to disrupt yourself. So you can cycle back to that phase and start all over again. And if you don't believe me, well, that's literally what I'm doing right now. And I break the whole thing down in this video. So I'll see you there.